I'm back and I can breathe. It's fantastic. So while I was sick, I read a couple of books. I read a duology, A Fate Inked in Blood and A Curse Carved in Bone. Now, I just flipped through my Kindle and was like, ooh, that's a pretty cover, and I heard it was popular. Let's give that a try. So, just a heads up so you don't roll into it like I did, it's definitely romantasy, it's smut. It's definitely smut. This isn't a bad thing, but just a heads up before you read it. So here are one thing I didn't really like, or that irritated me at one point, and two things I really liked about this series. So, the thing I wasn't a huge fan of, spoiler alert here, in book 2, there is a section, a fairly significant section, where Freya and Bjorn are having a conflict over Bjorn using the blood oath that she has. Because he doesn't want her to be controlled by a man. I agree, I don't want her to be either. But until the blood oath is broken, she is enslaved to anybody in his bloodline who decides to invoke it. There's no changing that until the oath is broken. So if you're going to be enslaved, I'm of a mind that you should probably have a master that cares about your well-being, and Snorri's track record's not great. And Leaf is wrapped around his mother's finger, so I can't see that being a better option. I totally get why it turns Bjorn's stomach. Was it kind of annoying? I mean, I would say that the angst lasted maybe a chapter or two longer than I would have wanted it to. But that is well within the range of a reader difference and is a pretty minor issue with it. So the two things I liked, the first one is I got a couple chapters in and I was like, okay, I can see where some of the characters are going, where the relationships are going. There are some loopholes in language that are going to come back and pay off later in the book. I think I know where we're going to end up. Well, I hope it's not boring getting there at least, because this seems like a pretty cut and dried story at this point. Though, you know, the characters are great so far and the setting was interesting. And so it's like, okay, I hope it ends up being more than I expect right now. And it 100% did. Everything that I noticed, I should have noticed. And it did pay off. But it didn't pay off quite the way I thought it would. And the way we got there, absolutely could not have called that. And there was a point, so at 43% on my Kindle in both books, I looked at the percent finished and was like, are we heading towards the climax, the finale? 43%. No, apparently we're just getting started. And the second time I did it, I had a laugh because I'm like, okay, this writer clearly structures her novels in a particular way, or at least this series in a particular way, because it was exactly 43% on both of them. Now, the second thing, which I think was my favorite thing about this duology, is that there is not a single character that you meet that is 100% good or 100% bad. They have all done things that are good and kind and constructive. And they have all done things that should make someone's skin crawl. And that they wish they hadn't done, or that, you know, any morally good person would probably feel pretty squeaky over. Like, no one is... There's no knight in shining armor. They're all just people. And the one that first clicked that for me of how well she does that is when, spoilers, when Freya first rolls into Snorri and Ylva's town and their house. Like, you don't like Snorri and Ylva. They're not pleasant. They're definitely not pleasant to Freya. But then they are well loved by their people. Like, they clearly are appreciated as leaders and have been good leaders historically. And they clearly love each other in a very honest, earnest, they're in a happy marriage kind of way. And it's put together in a very human, very contradictory, complex way. And so the characters, they all end up fighting like cats, and it's good fun. I enjoyed it. I inhaled it over a few days. It is definitely smut, so heads up, if you're not into that, don't do it. But for in-depth characters and great scenery and great background in a Norse setting, absolutely. It's a fun read. Go for it.